Good morning. Welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. It is September 12th. Sue Ellen, this is especially for you, but it's for all of the viewers who have wondered about the little monkeys that run around behind me. This is Skittles. Him and his sister are about 14 years old. They're very bonded to each other, and they're the ones you hear barking and howling in the background. So Skittles, say hi. Oh, that's a good boy. You're very handsome. Hang on here. And this is his sister, Tika. She's sort of the quiet, sensitive one. They're old little puppies. They're getting old, but we love and adore them. Okay, so for all of my viewers out there who are wondering about the animals, those are the puppies. Tika and Skittles, and you notice I call them puppies even though they're like 14 years old. In our family, our animals are like this. They're like puppies until they're about 16 or 18, and then they're referred to as the elder. Because you know. So, okay, so there's a lot going on. A lot of it really interesting. So I wanted to take a look, I got a request, and it's a really good one, to take a look at the relationship, what's going on with Mulvaney, the whole Wilbur Ross thing, and I take another look at Pompeo. I heard yesterday that there was talk of Pompeo actually absorbing the title that... oh, what the heck is his name? He just left. Anyways, but he, from NSA, absorbing his title and position also and combining the two. And, you know, it kind of doesn't surprise me because Trump is that person who really doesn't listen to his advisors. So you can kind of understand why he actually doesn't think he really needs them, you know. So there's that. So we're going to start there and see where this takes us and where we go. So we're going to start actually focused in on Mulvaney and what is going on with him, where his priorities and focus are, and what his intentions are. Whoopsie. Interesting. Alrighty. So come on down and let's see what we can find out. So we're focusing in on Mick Mulvaney and what his story is. That. Okay. Mick Mulvaney, Mick Mulvaney, Mick Mulvaney. I'm just gonna, okay. All right, so let's see what we see. All right, so generally speaking, you know, these would be considered really lovely cards to receive in any sort of a private reading. In this connotation, however, they give us some interesting insights. One is that he has interest in either expanding or creating opportunities for himself across land, across the water. He's definitely looking at business opportunities, that sort of thing. Now, I know next to nothing about Mick Mulvaney, so I don't know. Maybe he already has some and he's looking to expand them. Maybe he has none and he's looking to create some. But he is driven not only by money, but his ego is such that he is actually going to almost do upside down backflips to not antagonize Trump, because his ego is such that a public firing would be very, very hard for him to recover from. So with him, there is very much a sense of whatever Trump wants, Trump gets. It doesn't matter how crazy it is. We are just going to celebrate the brilliance of Trump. That's where he's at. That's his thinking, and that's his rationale for what goes on. It really is a sense of, he wants it, he gets it. I don't want to be embarrassed or humiliated by him, so I'm going to give him whatever he wants, however he wants it. Well, interesting, because that, of course, is the card that flew out. So what we're talking about here is part of Mulvaney's job, whether he identifies it as such or not, is really about trying to keep the illusions going. He has remarkable clarity about what Trump is and what Trump isn't. He doesn't necessarily agree with like 95% of what Trump is and does. However, he has become sort of more of a public figure than he was previously, and he is really not into getting humiliated. So he is going to spin and weave whatever story and whatever behind the scenes maneuvering that he needs to, and he doesn't really care about truth at this point. He cares about keeping a lid on the volcano. So he will, he's going to say whatever. He was absolutely behind Wilbur Ross being told to deal with Noah and the whole hurricane situation. And there's a lot of other things that may now actually start coming to light about things that Mulvaney has done behind the scenes to ensure that Trump is mollycoddled and kept happy. I'm not sure, like I said, I don't know anything about him, but it appears to me that there were some really profound disappointments in his life. There were some situations where he felt embarrassed or humiliated on kind of a bigger scale, okay? Like not just, a schoolyard bully, but bigger and more public. And that is literally what he is going to prevent at all costs. In a lot of ways, Trump could not have picked a better chief of staff, because he will do whatever it takes so that he does not end up on the wrong side of Trump. And in order to not end up on the wrong side of Trump, well, he has to do whatever it is Trump wants, no matter how crazy or insane. You are going to see him sort of continuing to push back a little bit and defend himself a little bit as the story about Noah continues. And it's going to continue to grow because, let's face it, there are now 2 investigations going on to find out what the heck. So expect a little bit more defensive posturing from him, some more denials. I didn't do that. But in fact, he did. And he's been caught. And in Trump fashion, he is going to double down because he needs to keep Trump happy, and he needs to keep his positioning secure and humiliation free. It's a really interesting energy around him. It really is almost like something he absolutely does not want to have visited upon him is any sort of humiliation or embarrassment. So he hangs on tight to what he has. He hangs on tight to his position. And as I said, he does whatever needs to be done to ensure that he is secure and safe and not with a target on his back. And like all the others who have done Trump's bidding, there is going to be a lot of emotions coming out. And because we have the Queen of Cups here, I would not be at all surprised if that didn't have to do with some sort of investigation, some sort of legal request or verdict that comes down, he's going to be put between a rock and a hard place, because no matter what he does, he's going to get like in trouble. And ultimately he ends up like all of the others with his, heart broken. He's not going to come out of this unscathed. This was not, the chief of staff thing was not something he actually wanted to accept. It was something that he couldn't figure out how to not accept. And so his attitude was, fine, I will do this, but I am going to do everything in my power to keep myself secure and keep myself 100% protected. Because he felt that that was the only way that he could actually survive the ride. Now, it doesn't look like he's actually going to, but, he tried. Yeah, there's going to be a whole lot more information coming out. New things that are being investigated, or investigations that are being that are underway, that are going to provide a lot of insights, a lot of information. And there's going to be a lot more coming out about, again, all of these backroom maneuvers, all of the sort of deals, all of the kind of underhanded, you help me, I will help you, behaviors that are rampant in the Trump administration and White House. And more is going to continue to come out. And energetically, that's exactly what needs to happen. There has to be an avalanche of information that comes out that is unflattering, not only to Trump, but to the Trump administration as a whole, because that is going to be what continues to build the momentum to continue to carry on these investigations against Trump and his wrongdoing. The people who watch this channel, and like-minded people, want this impeachment to happen like yesterday, and they feel that there is enough there to do it. And you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. But what isn't there yet is enough support from the people. People are just starting to refocus in on the goings on in Washington. Because for the last couple of months, or well, literally 4 or 5 months, let's face it, it was summer, it was spring, it was, the 4th of July, it was, it was relaxing time, it was kicking back time. And so they just weren't paying kind of as much attention. As we go into fall, a lot more attention is going to be paid, and that is, again, going to build up the momentum towards what it is that will ultimately bring Trump down. So I know I keep telling you to be patient, and I'm going to tell you again. For those of us who see and who watch intently what's going on, we cannot believe what is happening before our eyes. But you have to understand that a large percentage of people, they haven't opened their eyes, and nor have they rubbed the sleep out of their eyes. That needs to happen. That needs to continue to happen, because as I've said before, it is not just that you need to take Trump out of office. It is that you need to kneecap him. You need to bring him right down, because if he is left with even the smallest soapbox, he's going to jump right on it and start yakking. Okay, again, so this is literally a repeat of these cards, right? More information coming out, more information about dirty dealings and backroom, maneuvers, and Trump doubling down and leaving really the people around him in no position other than to spout the lies that he tells, to back them up and to support them. Yeah. So as far as Mulvaney goes, there definitely is things that are being looked at, things that are being investigated. He is on the periphery of them, but he is not going to escape unscathed. So the very humiliation and embarrassment that he has been trying to avoid is exactly what is going to bring him down, because it appears that he would rather lie and scheme and do nothing as a defense. And so the lesson that he was given an opportunity to learn about, it's almost about ego versus the truth or the reality. He has not taken that lesson. He has not learned it. And so he will suffer the consequences of not learning not taking the opportunity to learn the lesson as it was presented to him. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if at some point in the future, you know, not right away, but sort of a little bit down the road, if he also didn't come into, you know, as everybody else has, Trump's bad graces, okay? Trump's going to get annoyed with him. He's going to be spouting off at the mouth. He's going to be saying stupid, inane things. And Mulvaney actually may end up losing the status and the position that he has tried so hard to hang on to. So that's kind of interesting, right? Yeah, there's oh my goodness. Okay, so you've got stuff coming out. You've got illumination on those dark places. More and more information. I do not, like I keep saying it, I don't know anything about him, but I'm fascinated by the fact that there seems to be business dealings or significant money behind him or possessions, and he risks losing them. And in fact, the potential for him to lose them is rather significant at this point. So that's interesting. Now, by the way, while I'm just shuffling my cards and getting things organized, congratulations to North Carolina. Okay, the energy in that state is building up in a really lovely way. For people who are disappointed that McCready, I think, didn't win, I share your disappointment. However, the fact that he was able to come so close to unseating a Republican in North Carolina is absolutely brilliant. It shows the strength of the people who are opposing Trump and opposing that administration and the people in it. And that is like really, really wonderful. So he accomplished a great deal, and his numbers certainly have put a significant scare into the Republican Party, because they were not supposed to come this close. There was also some shenanigans that went on in North Carolina about a vote to veto, I think it was a state budget, because it was, I think, the governor's budget. And the Republicans really, really did a dirty trick and got that thing vetoed. And that is sad, and that is tragic, and in due course, that will somehow be reversed or corrected. But again, the fact that the Democrats stayed engaged and vocal, and the fact that that lady, whose name I don't remember, kept, there was a video of her pushing back with a great deal of passion. That is brilliant. That is exactly the energy that it needs to happen, and it needs to happen right across your country. But do not look at these things as failures. They're not. What they are is really clear indicators that those states that used to be considered red, 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 are not red, red, red anymore. And that the independents and the Democrats have said enough is enough, and they're pushing back. So do not be defeated by those seeming defeats. They're not defeats at all. They are wins, because they are letting, they are building momentum for themselves. All right. I want to take a quick look at Pompeo. I don't like him. I think I said that before in the last reading I did. I don't like his energy, but you can't sort of deny the fact that he has figured out how to speak with Trump, keep Trump on his side. From what I understand, he is considered to be quite an intelligent man. So on one hand, it's got to be incredibly frustrating for him to deal with the likes of Trump. But so I just want to take a look and see what's going on with him. Kind of just a quick overview of the immediate future. So let's take a look. Mike Pompeo, Mike Pompeo, Mike Pompeo. Yeah, okay, so he considers the kind of government positions that he has the top of the echelon ladder, okay? Like, he really feels that he sits at the right hand of the most powerful person in the universe. He hasn't apparently got the notes about the fact that Trump is not. The only thing that Trump excels at is being a laughing stock around the world. There is no power left to Trump simply because he's corrupted it all away. But he considers his position sort of like the shining star, if you will, of his career. And he has every intention of building on it and making himself more famous and more secure and more admired. But he's very, very careful to not do it in front of Trump. Have to remember, a lot of these people who appear to be just literally in Trump's pocket, they're not really in his pocket as much as it feels very much like they're using him as a springboard, right? They're using him as a way to further and advance their own career interests, their own business interests, their own political ambitions. Okay, so again, we have offers being made to him that he actually feels might be kind of a little unwise to accept, but not really knowing how not to accept them. We have his own version of power and the amount of power he wants to wield within the government and internationally. And he also is destined to be disappointed because eventually he is also going to end up in a position where he has lost his political capital. He has lost his face. He is not, any respect he has now is going to dissipate over the next while, because there comes a time when people actually just have to push back a little against Trump. And he is not one of those people who will do that. And so going forward, he will carry the smudge of Trump. Yeah. And when that happens, judgment on him is going to come very, very quickly. So it's not going to put him in a place or a position that he would have hoped to have found himself in. You know, this is the thing about karma. As the vibration of the planet increases, so does the speed with which karma comes back. And you have to understand, when karma comes back, it doesn't come back to punish you. First, it comes back to kind of give you the opportunity to correct what you've done and make amends for it. And then if that doesn't work, you know, it comes back in another form a little later, and it gives you another chance. And then slowly but surely you end up in exactly the position that the people were, or the situation was, for which you created harm. So sometimes you'll see these little flickers of karma, and it is just, and it is as karma works. Sometimes people get the feeling, or they think that karma sort of accumulates over a bunch of lifetimes, and then one lifetime you come back and it all gets dumped on you. That's not how it works. Karma these days comes back much more quickly in little bites, and eventually those bites get bigger and bigger and bigger until you find yourself in the untenable position of being exactly in the position where you cause the greatest harm to others. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I'm going to be doing readings on in the next couple of days. I think the next thing I'm going to look at is the situation with the trade wars and the huge amount of jobs that are being lost. I mean, 300,000 jobs lost already. They're expecting like 900,000 jobs lost by the end of 2020 if these trade wars continue. And you know, this is the problem with the trade wars. Once you lose those customers, those consumers of your product, it's not like they don't have the product. They just get it from another country. So they become the customer of another country. Well, it's really hard to get back a customer that you have lost, especially if they are finding exactly what they're looking for somewhere else. So the trade wars are going to be a very long and painful process to recover from. So that's not a good thing. We're going to take a deeper delve into the trade wars. And I was heartened to see this morning that apparently 145 CEOs of very large, powerful companies in the United States have sent a letter or have sent letters to senators suggesting that this gun legislation thing needs to happen. And the situation as it is now is not acceptable. So that's really, really good news. Again, you know, a wave is made up of drops of water. Come on, basic science, right? Those big waves you see crashing, they're all individual drops of water. And when you get enough drops of water coming together with a common goal, a wave happens. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the little cameo by the puppies. I thank you ever so much for viewing, for spending some time with me, for liking and subscribing. Your comments are wonderful. I thank you. I also thank you for the donations that are coming in appreciation for what I do. It just warms my heart. You can't even know. And of course, if you're looking for a private reading, that little box will give you some information in terms of how to contact me to access more information. So, until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you really soon. Bye.